Peace, Multiverse. I'm your host, Tyrus, and today's episode is going to be big, man. Yeah, it's going to be big today, y'all. Or should I say mega, right? It's going to be mega. It's going to be mega. We're going to dive into this review. So we have here the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Mega Figures, Mongul and Frankenstein. Now, the story with me and these two characters is this. I'm familiar with Mongul. You know, I've known him from the comics and everything, even the Justice League, animated series. So I'm familiar with Mongul. And I had a feeling that we were going to be getting Mongul at some point. I figured maybe before the year's out or maybe next year. And I said this during my Superman Worlds at War review. That's up on the channel if you want to check it out. But I was like, we have to be getting a Mongul because he ties into that character. And sure enough, a week later, McFarlane Toys is like, whoop, there it is. Here you go. You got Mongul. So he revealed Mongul, but not only did he reveal Mongul, he revealed Frankenstein. Now, I'm familiar with Frankenstein. I came across the character a few times doing some crossover events, doing my New 52 readings and everything. So I'm familiar with him, but not as much as I am with the Mongul. But now I'm reading more up on this Frankenstein character, and he's really interesting. And it's so crazy how I'm excited about this Mongul, and I figured that we were going to be getting him. But I'm more so excited for a character that I didn't know as much about, that I'm getting to know more of in Frankenstein. And I feel like that it really speaks to the greatness of McFarlane Toys, because we're getting characters that we are familiar with, that we really know and love. And then we're introduced to characters that we might not be as familiar with, but we wind up really falling into and really liking, like I do with the Frankenstein. So I'm even more so excited for Frankenstein than I may be Mongul. And I love this Mongul character. So this is an exciting review for me to have both of these mega figures as a part of my collection. Now, as usual, both characters are packaged with the collector's card. You see Mongul's here, and he is labeled Superman villain. And then on the back, we have Mongul's data file. And then up next, we have Frankenstein's collector's card. He is with the 7 Soldiers of Victory. And then on the back, we have his data file. And last but not least, our 2 mega figures are packaged with the old reliable DC McFarlane display stand. All right, up first is Mongul. And welcome home, Mongul. I knew you were coming. I knew we was getting you at some point. All right, let's take a close look at this guy, because he looks like, he looks super evil. They captured that diabolical grin that he has. He just has that devilish grin to him. They did it's the sculpted detail on his face. Looks fantastic, man. I love it. Now, there's no direct interpretation of this figure that they're pulling from. I feel like this is just McFarlane's vision of this character. He looks like Mongul, but I don't think this comes from a particular comic or anything like that. And he definitely doesn't look the way they have him looking on the box art. But this just looks awesome, man. This particular interpretation of Mongul all the way through, there seems to be some sort of a gloss to the paint that's utilized through much of the costume here. Has that nice shiny look to it. There's some textured detail here in the costume here in the leg areas. The detail here on the belt. He has that cosmic look to him still. It's Mongul. They definitely captured that look to him. And I like how they went a route where they were like, okay, it's no direct representation of a particular comic. This is just what he envisions him to be. And I like that idea. I like that that direction that they're taking with the Mongul character. Of course, he comes with, he has double jointed knees, which is awesome. And articulation is really good with this figure. You can go all the way back here. He has nice articulation in the foot area. He has that toe articulation as well. Now, and the thing I like about this character is usually the mega figures for McFarlane Toys, they do not have any articulation in the wrist, and this one does. So he has nice articulation in the wrist. So that's something that he added to this character here. So I'm glad, our figure. So I'm glad he did that. He doesn't have double jointed elbows, but he has this Still has pretty nice articulation here. These little gauntlets kind of deter much of the articulation going this way. However, he does have this forearm swivel, which is pretty good. So he has that. Now, he has nice extension here in the arms, which goes all the way out like this, which is really good. Look at the detail in the arms here, the veins, the sculpted details of the muscle. That really stands out with this character, makes him look even that much more imposing. You know, that devilish grin that he has, the snarl on his face looks really good. I love how they captured that brow, the classic brow of the Mongul character. It's really distorted and everything. So they definitely captured that distorted, crazy look that Mongul has up in the brow area and the eyes. Look at the eyes. He has that nice little tint of red and black to shade underneath the eyes. Lifts that area. He has that nice, again, that devilish grin. They captured that all the way through. This guy stands out, folks. I really like that. They captured here the little emblem that he has on his chest. Again, he has that little cybernetic, you know, kind of armor to him all the way through. They captured that in a nice silver finish they have on this character. Man, the detail is really nice. And again, really smooth character all the way through. And again, he has this sort of like a glossy paint finish that's applied to the figure, seems like. But overall, really solid mega figure here. And again, nice articulation all the way through. I mean, to be a big figure, he has nice articulation. Now, he does have also the waist swivel as well, so I wanted to make sure I captured that with this character. But really solid figure all the way around. Has nice little rocking back and forth here. So again, articulation is really solid with this figure. Very happy with Mongul. And he doesn't come with any accessories. He doesn't need any. This guy is that powerful. He is a force to be reckoned with. So really happy with this Mongul character. And he has nice, let's check his head rotation. So his head can go around despite, you know, all of the armor and everything. So again, nice articulation here with the Mongul figure. Can go down, can go up only so much, up and back only so much. You're not going to be needing a lot of articulation. These are imposing figures that are going to stand over the smaller figures and everything. So this guy is going to be a welcome addition to my McFarlane toy collection. He is going to be an imposing figure, man, to my Justice League characters, Superman, and his rest of his friends. This is awesome, folks. This is yet another home run for McFarlane Toys. Again, welcome home, Mongul. I knew you were coming. All right, let's get on to the next. Up next is the surprise character of this review, and that is the one and only Frankenstein. Now, I've been reading more and more up on this particular character, and the more I read, the more interested I've become as a whole. I'm really happy to have dived in on this particular character here. You know, I've always been a fan of the old school monster characters. I'm nowhere near a horror person, but I love the old school characters like Frankenstein, Werewolf, and Count Dracula, all that stuff like that. And mostly, I'm a big fan of the old Monsters TV series from way back in the day. Now, I wasn't born when it came out, but I loved that comedy series, and it had Frankenstein in it. So I would watch the shows as a kid. I watched the reruns as a kid. So it really kind of takes me back to the old Monsters comedy TV show. But it's really cool to have something like this. He's a little different than the standard DC characters that you get. And again, man, this guy just looks phenomenal. Like, he looks so good. Like, the detail that is applied to this character all the way through. He has that undead look. You know, I definitely recommend that you check out his story. It really harkens back to the old classic tales of Frankenstein. You know, they captured the stitched up look here throughout the head areas. They definitely capture that. The classic Frankenstein, you know, a little bowl haircut. Look at the wash and the detail that they applied to the hair area. The face sculpt really captures that Frankenstein, that stare that he has. It really plays to this character overall. Really like that. They have the little classic little, I don't know what you call these things that the Frankenstein would wear on each side of the head. I guess that would capture lightning bolts or whatever. You know, he has that as well. Would have been cool if they would have added maybe some silver paint to these little areas here on each temple. That would have been awesome. But he definitely has this stare of death or whatever, this undead stare that he has here. Has a nice little detail here in the cheek areas. Those areas are raised. Just nice paint detail throughout with this particular figure here, man. I'm impressed all the way through. Again, man, the sculpted detail here in the arm area is right there. The muscle detail is there as well. He has single jointed elbows here. Let's see if he has that forearm swivel that the Mongul has. So he definitely has forearm swivel, but single jointed elbows. Articulation in the elbow is pretty decent. He has nice articulation in the wrist areas. So so both Mongul and Frankenstein have articulation in the wrist and hand area. So that's good. So I'm glad that they're doing that. Hopefully they do that moving forward with the mega figures. You know, arm articulation, he can go all the way out like this here. That's no problem. Hand articulation, he can go all the way around with no issues at all. He can look up really well. He can look down with no problem. Let's see if he has any waist swivel. Got nice waist swivel. Really impressed with the articulation with these mega figures. I mean, you wouldn't think that they'd be as articulated, but they are. You can go down just a bit, but articulation with the waist is really good. A little bit of rocking here. Has nice, whoo, he has really good articulation here in the legs. He can do the splits all the way through. He definitely has double jointed knees. He can go all the way back here and go all the way back through again. And he has definitely nice articulation in the foot area. Can go up and down here. Has a little bit of rocking. He has that toe articulation as well. So articulation is definitely on point with this figure. And again, just the detail throughout. I want to get back to the detail on this figure here, because here they captured that classic little vest look that he has in the comic. It's the color for this little vest area that he wears in the comics is accurate to the T. You know, he has this trench coat here that's weathered and worn, and he's cut out the sleeves to show the arms and everything. That really works as well. I just love the weathered detail throughout his trench coat. And they always capture the capes and the coat, the trench coats. I mean, McFarlane toys, I mean, they just really shine in these areas here. I mean, this just looks fantastic. And then you have here, one of the highlights of this figure's design is the jeans. They captured this weathered, textured detail with the jeans here. That just looks phenomenal. Look at this right here. I mean, this just looks fantastic, man. I mean, I just love this. This has to be one of the most highly detailed figures from McFarlane Toys. I mean, they really captured the look and the essence and the feel of this Frankenstein action figure. And again, I just can't get over the weathered, textured color and detail of his denim jeans. That really makes this guy stand out. He already stands out because he's this big Frankenstein character. You know, I mean, this big buff Frankenstein character who has stitchings all over him, and he captured the stitchings. This guy is stitched up with various parts. They captured that here in the forearms, the biceps, here in the head area. Again, look at the boots, folks. The weather detail, the clunky boots. These are the classic clunky Frankenstein boots. This takes me back to the Monster comedy show where this is the same boot, seems like, that Frankenstein wore. These are those clunky big boots here. They capture that. And despite how big these boots are and everything, again, he has really nice articulation in the foot area. So this Frankenstein is just absolutely off the charts, folks. Very impressed with this guy. Again, he's become a favorite of mine in the DC universe. And with all that, folks, we are winding down, or we're adding to that Justice League Dark team. So we have Frankenstein. So we got Frankenstein, we got Swamp Thing, we have Etrigan, we got Constantine, we know we have Deadman coming, so we have to be getting Zatanna. So mark this on this review. We're going to go back to this review when they reveal Zatanna. Probably as I'm talking right now, Zatanna is getting revealed. So we'll maybe get Zatanna before this year is out, or maybe at the beginning of the next year. But I got a feeling we're going to get Zatanna before this year is out. So we'll have a pretty solid Justice League Dark team, folks. I mean, This guy was came out of nowhere. You know, I felt that we'd get Zatanna before we get a Frankenstein, but this guy looks just magnificent. One thing I wanted to point out is that this area here is soft good plastic. And I guess they utilize this plastic so that it gives a little bit better with articulation in the leg area, maybe. So as they would call it, this area here is pretty much a plastic diaper on the figure. Now, this Frankenstein figure is packaged with a weapon, and he comes with this excellent looking sword, man. This huge sword, by the way. You know, the detail on this sword looks magnificent here. The nice silver paint finish that they utilize here, little gold handle, and the detail here. This weapon here is just highly detailed, really smooth, and just looks fantastic. So we have this awesome weapon for Frankenstein. Now, speaking of weapons, he has this sword here that he's packaged with. However, he does have his vintage pistol that he uses in the comics. Now, that pistol that Frankenstein utilizes is included with the upcoming munitions pack version 2. So we have version 2 coming out, folks, and that includes his pistol. So if you want to get his pistol, you definitely want to dive into that second version of the munitions pack. So definitely do that. I'll put the link in the description for that as well. But look at this here, man. He looks fantastic, man, with this sword. Oh, I love it, man. This sword just looks so awesome. Has that Excalibur look to it, by the way. But yeah, man, this is just awesome, dude. I mean, to have a Frankenstein with this large sword, highly articulated for a mecha figure. I mean, you can still get this guy into some pretty cool poses. You know, like I said, he's not going to be like a Batman or anything like that. You still will be able to do something with this guy here. Oh, this guy looks so awesome, folks. One more feature I wanted to highlight with this Frankenstein figure is that he has this sheath in the back of his little trench coat here. So you take the knife, or you take the sword, and you can place it here, which is so awesome, folks. So this guy just looks cool all the way through. He's just a dope figure, man. Love this Frankenstein. Again, he just has a super presence that I really appreciate. Oh, man, these are some big boys here. All from McFarlane Toys. I have here from the Black Adam movie, the Sabak mega figure. Then up next we have from the Blackest Night, Necron. Up next we have the Zack Snyder Justice League Darkseid. Then of course we have Mongul and Frankenstein. And then last but not least, we still have, I believe, the largest mega figure still to this day right now in the Swamp Thing. And since this guy really gets under the Man of Steel skin, and this is a Superman villain, I have alongside our Mongul mega figure, also from McFarlane Toys, the Angry Superman Hush figure. Oh, I love this. All right, folks, we are slowly but surely getting closer and closer to completing that Justice League Dark team. But here we have, for comparison, also from McFarlane Toys, the mega figure Swamp Thing. And then up next we have the Page Puncher Constantine, who's always up to something, folks. You know, Constantine is always up to something. And then last but not least, we have my main man, Etrigan the Demon. Bring on the Justice League Dark. All right, folks, that's all I have for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. I hope you all enjoyed this review. I mean, what can I say? This is just so awesome. I mean, to be able to get action figures and the variety of the different types of figures that we're getting from the McFarlane Toy brand is just absolutely just mind-blowing to me. And as a DC fan, and as just a collector as well, it's exciting. It's really exciting to be introduced to characters that you don't know, and to fall into these characters, and to have characters that you do know and familiar with, like the Mongul, and the new characters that I'm a fan of, like Frankenstein. But again, this is just exciting for me, and both figures, and Mongul and Frankenstein, are phenomenal mega figures, and I just couldn't be more happy to be adding them to my overall DC Multiverse collection. And we continue to get some really exciting reveals from McFarlane Toys. So stay tuned for more on this channel. But again, thank you so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. Be sure to comment below, share your thoughts. And folks, on top of that, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, folks, be good to one another. Be safe. Stay tuned. Same bad time, same bad channel. And as you can see, folks, it's on between Mongul, the Trinity, and Frankenstein. And yeah, I got my money on Frankenstein and the Trinity for sure. All right, folks, until next time, talk to you later. Bye for now.